Oki, Itamexistiko, good day. It is kind of a blustery, Chinooking Thursday, December 13th, 2018. In the lunar cycle, Mesamiko Komiatos, the long night's moon. Down here in the coulee, we don't feel that wind as much, but if I was up there on the rim, pretty blustery. 6 degrees above zero, but it doesn't feel like it when you're in that wind. Down here it's pretty nice. Have just a couple of hours of daylight left and thought I would take a little hike, maybe do a round at Whoopup. Like to try to get out on my Thursdays and do a little bit of that. And I figure it's high time I give my Thursday weekly update. I said last week that I was going to try to increase the YouTube video output that's slowed down so much since summer, but there's not a whole lot happening. It's hard to come up with entertaining video journal pieces out of thin air. But here, I'll tell you what's going on in the life of Rye in any case. Probably the most prominent feature or aspect of my life this week, or at least the thing that's kept me most mentally, well, not only mentally, all body engaged, has been my continued physical training, my almost daily training sessions with Chelsea. And I don't know why I choose winter to do this. But that's the way it seems to work with me. I get all in the mood to get myself physically fit again when we're going into the coldest part of the year. But anyway, yeah, we've continued our work in the garage gym this week and started a little bit of really light sparring. This is the first time that she's sparred at all. In addition to our, continuing to build on the kickboxing and jiu-jitsu and such. My brother, Sonny Delaney, whose dad gave me my Blackfoot name, so I call him my brother. He pulled a pretty good prank on me this week and posted on my Facebook this picture of this, kind of chubby, beer belly, ass crack guy, with spandex and a tank top and a toque like I wear, and he said something about I finally found the answer what I was looking for, Ryan's yoga. Oh, it was a pretty bad burn. And so I responded to that the next morning. I went out and I did a run, and I was just gonna go like 5 or 6 kilometers. Actually, I was only going to go a couple kilometers. I was going to do a run with Chelsea as a kind of a warm-up into our workout for the day, but she wasn't able to come over till later in the afternoon. So in the morning I figured, well, I'll just go run by myself and I'll do like 5 or 6 kilometers or something like that. And as I was running, I got to maybe my 4th kilometer or whatever, and I wasn't even feeling it yet. Everything was good. So I thought, what the heck, why don't I do some distance today? It's been a long while since I've done any real distance. So I figured I'd do 1/3 of a kilometer. So I'd go another 10 kilometers on top of the 4 that I already done. And so I did it, I knocked it out. Probably the last 20 minutes was kind of tough. My legs were getting tight, My arms were hurting a little bit. It's been a long time. It's been at least a year since I ran a 1/3 of a marathon like that. And it's been 3 years since I actually ran a marathon. So pulling that out of the blue, even today, which is 2 days later, I'm still feeling it just a little bit in my legs. Yesterday I was hobbling around like an old man. But yeah, I did the 14. I did it in just about an hour and a half even, almost. And then I was able to post back on Facebook, reply to Sonny, say, let's talk now, brother. Yeah, but I felt good. Felt good getting that run in, and I think I'm ready to run again, maybe even tomorrow morning, and pick up the practice. Which I've left off for too long. Now, in addition to the physical training every day, Chelsea and I have started to turn the nutrition thing around, and so in order to kind of, oh, there's a train. In order to kind of keep ourselves, you know, in check, we're treating our nutrition like we got addictions problems, basically. And so we're sponsoring each other in a way, and so we're reporting everything that goes in, food and drink and anything that goes in the body is getting reported now, so that, you know, so we have some motivation to do it right. And so the last week, I've been eating really clean, you know, like today so far. I had coffee in the morning, I had a carrot, I went and ran around, did some errands and stuff, had to go put up a badger trap out in a neighboring town, Raymond. It's a little bit of a drive out there, and but they definitely have a badger on site. There's a couple of different holes in the yard, and one of them is backfilled, so badger's in there. But any case, while I was out there, I was getting hungry, and so I could have chose, you know, anything to eat in the town. There's fast food and gas station junk, and, you know, corn dog would have went down pretty good, or even a Subway sandwich. But instead, you know, I because I knew I was going to be reporting it, then I went in the grocery store and I bought some roast chicken, you know, just some freshly roast chicken, and a couple of tomatoes and some water, and did the trick, you know. So yeah, I'm eating way cleaner. Can you tell I got time on my hands? You know, all this stuff now. But it's nice to get back to it. You know, those of you who've been like subscribed to my channel only the last year and a half or so, maybe don't realize that in the past, a good portion of the videos on my channel were physical training videos. So it is a aspect of my life, and it's nice to kind of return to it. So that's been going on. Wow, this is just completely unprecedented. You know, in the 14 or 15 years that I've been coming out here, watching a couple of times a week at least, every week, never has there been a pool of open water at the Beaver Lodge, you know, in the middle of going into the long night's moon, going toward the solstice. We got the Christmas bird count this weekend, and the water's still open. And that's crazy. And, you know, this year, the beavers made the biggest food cache that I've ever seen them make here. So if I was judging based on, you know, their food cache, I would think that we're going to be in for a pretty rough winter, but I don't know. Really doesn't seem like it. We'll see. Sometimes the real mean part of winter kicks in a little late, but then just hammers us. So we'll see. The other big news item in the life of Rye this week is that Fort Whoopup has hired me again, or is hiring me. I got to give them a quote and make sure that we got our money agreement in place. but the invitation is there. Couple of years back, well, you probably remember I did a video maybe a month or so ago where I visited the site of the old Fort Whoopup, the original Fort Whoopup. Well, right across the river from here, underneath the downtown core of Lethbridge, there's a Fort Whoopup replica, you know, that people can come for tourism and stuff like that, and for telling the story of Lethbridge. Lethbridge is really the wildest of the Wild West. This is the last bastion. It really was. And Fort Whoopup was the nexus of everything. If Fort Whoopup wasn't there, RCMP wouldn't have been formed when they were the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, you know. The symbol of Canada in some respects. They wouldn't have even been formed if it wasn't for Fort Whoopup, because of the crazy and ugliness that was going on out here. Anyway, a couple of summers back, that fort replica used to be run by a private organization, a non-profit, and or a non-profit organization, and then they were having some issues with finances, and so the city of Lethbridge took it over. And when they took it over, all of the exhibit materials that belonged to that organization, they were angry and they took it with them, you know. And so the city suddenly, that we were looking at, I think this happened maybe at the beginning of the year, like in a January takeover, and then we were looking at tourism in the summer and having to get everything together and create a new exhibit in the whole replica. It's a life, you know, it's a real replica of the fort. So there's a lot of space to fill in exhibit space and such, and so they had hired me to do the Blackfoot portion of that. I did a whole Blackfoot gallery in there a couple of summers ago, and there's videos about that as well. Maybe if I remember, I'll put some links here for you to look at what I did back then. But in any case, there's also an outside portion of the exhibit, which I worked on with them, where we have some teepee frames set up, and one teepee actually put up inside the fort. We didn't want to put the canvas teepees outside of the fort, where people at night, or, you know, visitors to the park, are going to mess with it and stuff. So the canvas teepee is actually inside the walls of the, you know, of the fort. But I do have some teepee frames outside, and it's supposed to look like a little camp out there. Lethbridge, actually, the area where it is, used to be an area where the Sundance camp, where the Blackfoot Sundance camp was held, and there's a historical photo of that. It's right here. This is looking from that side of the river toward my house. Any case, so I have those teepee frames out there, and the fort wants to add a couple of travois, a meat drying rack, a tripod with a cooking station, basically tripod cooking station, and what else? Firewood, stack of firewood, a Blackfoot style stack of firewood. So that's my goal. Put those things together, build those things for them, and then so I'm going to be doing a little bit of research to make sure that I got the travois just tight and everything. And we're looking at a April-ish installation, but I think I can already build them outside of that, get them prepared, and then just move them over when the time comes. So that's a pretty big deal, because I'm not going to be teaching at the college after next week. Next week's my last week at the college, and so getting this Fort Whoopup gig, that's going to help a lot financially, at least for a little bit, you know. It's it'll replace what I'm losing from the college, so it'll keep us on our feet, and that's good. And it seems like life is like that, hey, you know, whenever one opportunity goes away, another comes up. So other than my physical training and the offer from Whoopup, from the city basically, not a lot has changed since my last report otherwise. I mean, I haven't really got off, well, I've got off my ass to do some things, but there's other things that I'm procrastinating on that could help out a little bit for the winter. Like right now I'm teaching a language class on Saturday mornings. I got 2 students. They asked if they could do an hour with me once a week. They'd pay me $50 for the 2 of them. It's online on Skype, and that works out quite well. You know, I could see doing 4 or maybe even more of those hours here and there during the week to teach beginning Blackfoot, because certainly there's enough learners out there with the interest. I just have to kind of get off my ass and make it happen, and I haven't. So that's something. And then, you know, other things like my Sunday morning walk-in talks, I don't do a lot of promotion for those. I know that we do get, you know, people every week come and stay in the hotels in Lethbridge. They may or may not have ever been here. They're looking for stuff to do. You know, some people might want to go for a guided nature walk, nature / local history walk, you know. I could be doing that if I like got off my ass and went and made some brochures and stuff like that, you know. It's I'm really good at doing the things but not promoting the things. And I've got so much time on my hands, seemingly. I should be putting some of it toward that stuff. I guess this week I didn't find the balance, you know. This week a lot of time went to the health changes that are underway now, and you know, not enough to other stuff, so I got to get on that. By the way, some of you might be wondering when's the December box gonna be drawn. I haven't decided. I almost want to wait. I was going to try to get it out before Christmas, but obviously we're too late for that. It's the 13th, and I don't trust it's going to get where it needs to go if I put it in the mail tomorrow. But part of me wants to wait for Christmas anyway and see, you know, what comes down the pipe in Christmas that might feed into the box, because there's always stuff that I get for Christmas that I know I'm probably not going to use, but somebody else would. So I might wait. We might have the draw December 25th. I'm not sure, but it's coming. It'll be there. It'll happen sometime during this month. What else? What else is going on? Oh, I know what else. And maybe we'll just leave it at this. Over the week, somebody commented on one of my videos, might have just been the very last video that I made, the update from last Thursday, and said something to the effect of, if you're having a hard time producing YouTube content because of how slow winter is, which is the case, believe me, like this is my journal, you know, this is my private, well, it's not so private, but this is my life journal. And so if there was something going on that I thought was of any significance, believe me, I'd be recording it and including it. There's not a lot going on. You can see from last week to this week, you know, the content just isn't there. So this commenter says, okay, all right, we're in the winter. There's not a whole lot going on. This is a good time for Q&A, you know, Q&A from the subscribers. Maybe there's something that somebody wants to know about my life or my history, so they can just kind of fill in the gaps and get the whole picture, you know. Maybe there's some curiosity. They know that there's something missing from their understanding of who I am and what I'm doing and stuff. Ask those questions, put them as comments on this video. Doesn't have to be Ryan focused. It can be like a topic, an issue, something in current events, or, you know, whatever. What would Ryan think about this? Yeah, send those along. I'll pick out, you know, ones that I have some I'll pick out questions and such that I actually have some jam to create a video about, and we'll do it. This week actually I got an email from somebody with a couple of really good questions that I have on the back burner. I'm gonna make a separate video about them and address them. But yeah, that's a perfect way for those of you who've been watching my channel and are kind of bummed out that things are slow. Help me pick it up. Shoot me your questions and I'll make some videos. Maybe that'll be maybe then we'll have more content in the next week. We'll see. But it's an idea anyway. So that's about it. That's the life of Rye. Out here by the high level bridge. Lethbridge, Alberta. Beautiful place. Beautiful evening. Can't complain. Life is pretty damn good.